Hi, this is Rhonda Scher, the founder of Unleashing LinkedIn, where I get to have such amazing guests on my show. And today, I'm actually really excited because my guest is a professional networker. In fact, I think they actually call him the networking trainer, which we'll ask him about. But Eric Shaw is a hippie from the 60s, and he's the owner and founder of 3 companies. In 1979, he founded New York Credit Inc., which is a credit management company that runs and manages credit departments for manufacturers, wholesalers, and distributors. He's also a state-appointed receiver. And the second company, which is the reason that I invited Eric to be on Unleashing LinkedIn today, is he is actually the founder of All Cities Resource Group that he started in 1992. And, as somebody who is a professional networker myself, I fell in love with this group and also just with the way that Eric runs it. It's a business-to-business networking group. There's 17 networking groups in 5 verticals: business, finance, real estate, international, healthcare, cannabis. And right now, he's doing about 12 Zoom meetings a month because of COVID. And his third business, which we're not going to talk about today, but I'm sure is really fascinating, is he's a wrestling promoter, just like the kind you see on TV. And in 1987, Eric founded Wrestle Rock. And Wrestling Rock and Roll was created to raise money for charitable organizations. You have quite the resume, Eric. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Rhonda. That was a good entree. Very good. Yes.
Well, it's funny because I found you through one of my LinkedIn clients. And I thought that I knew about all of the best networking groups, but somehow I did not know about All Cities. And I know that the people that are listening to this show want to know about it because the last thing you want to do is be a best kept secret. So tell me about why'd you start All Cities, and tell me a little bit about it and why it's different from other groups.
Sure, I'd love to do that. As you mentioned, I started New York Credit in 1979, where I'm running and managing credit departments for companies. So from 79 to 1990, I'm doing all of these credit departments, and I had realized I can appraise, I can value, I can buy, I can liquidate receivables. Only problem is, I don't know any problem loan bankers. I don't know any bankruptcy attorneys. Interest rates were like 16, 17% in 1990. How do I get to meet those people? And somebody said, Eric, get into networking. So within 2 years of learning how to network, I started All Cities in 1992. And I didn't do it for the normal thought of people network just to put on business. I started networking to gather knowledge. Knowledge is what's king, and if you know how to use the knowledge, it's a home run. So All Cities started in 1992, and that's how I got to meet bankers, lenders, lawyers, CPAs, investment bankers, real estate professionals, technology people. And one of the mantras of All Cities is any line item on a balance sheet or profit and loss can be handled by somebody in All Cities, which means we all can do anything. And my job is to teach people who join All Cities how to become a better networker. And that was the start of how I got into All Cities.
Wow.
Now 28 years.
Huh. And it's interesting because a lot of people don't really know how to network. What they do is, it used to be before COVID, people would go to events and, it was really just a business card exchange where everybody was coming up to you, you got to do your 30-second elevator pitch, and then they would just try to sell to you. But I've been to All Cities, and I've been to several of your groups. And fortunately, because of COVID, it went virtual, which allows people to, like me, to attend many meetings in 1 week or 1 month versus, having to drive and, show up and get dressed. And now you have an opportunity to attend so many more meetings. And what I really love about what you guys do is, number one, I'd love you to talk about, who's actually joining your groups. Are they vetted? I know you have an amazing, one of the things I really like is that you give people 30 days to try it out, which is kind of cool. So Let's talk just a little bit about what it looks like now within the the COVID-19 pandemic, and how that's working and what it's like.
It's interesting you mention that. In March 2020, when the pandemic hit, I had to close down all my live meetings from Orange County, California, to as far north as San Francisco. And if I don't have any meetings, I don't have any guests. If I don't have any guests, I can't get new members. If I can't get new members, how do I keep the old members? And then I started talking to some of my moderators, and they said, Eric, let's go into Zoom. So all my moderators learned how to do Zoom, and I set up these Zoom meetings. What made them so good? Is Orange County going to go to San Francisco to a San Francisco meeting? Probably not. Is San Francisco going to come down to L.A. and see the people down here? Probably not. The biggest thing now with Zoom meetings is San Francisco loves to meet the people in L.A., in Orange County. Orange County loves to meet the people in San Francisco. But you know what's even better? We have an international group, and people in Europe, England, France, Germany are now Zooming into our meetings for the international group. So all of a sudden, what was a problem became a positive. I don't see myself ever leaving a Zoom meeting. I could see doing 2 Zoom meetings a week and have live meetings when all of this changes. So to me, that was really a big thing. In terms of screening the people who come on, I do speak with them typically before they come into the group, but within 30 days, if they're interested, we do background checks. I don't want people that see a particular need and deal, and we'll get into that after, and they're really fraudulent. So you got to check the people who are in the group, because we're talking money here. Money is everything, and there are crooks all over the place. So with All Cities, we try to screen everybody out, and who's left is great. Here's another mantra of All Cities. All Cities is the place where you will learn how to network, make money, and gain new friends. And those 3 things are the agenda of my meeting. I'm going to teach you how to network. And by the way, that leads to a book that I wrote, Championship Networking. I'm your networking personal trainer. And my job is to make sure that everybody is always on the same page. So the scope is all these groups, all these professionals, we became friends because, and here's one of the biggest differences in All Cities than all other networking groups. When you join one group, you're a member of all. Don't become defensive if there's 2 bankers in the room, if there's 2 insurance people in the room. It doesn't make a difference. It's the friendship you build up in order to become friends with even those people that might be doing something similar, because nobody does everything the same. So that's kind of
Eric, didn't you create something called a troika, which is a way for your members, once they leave, whether it's a physical meeting or it's a virtual meeting on Zoom, where they have an opportunity to actually learn more about one another, not to sell to one another, but to learn who they are and what they need. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's a very unique concept.
Yeah, let me back into that for a second. All Cities is not a meeting that runs from 7 to 9. I made it to where it's nonstop every single day of the week, every single week of the month, every month of the year. That's because you're a member of all groups. Here's a little synopsis of the agenda. From 7 to 7:30, and I'm going to pretend this is a live meeting, but you'll see it's identical even in the Zoom. From 7 to 7:30, members come to the meeting, and the host location puts out some food, coffee, bagels, Danish, things like that, so you can schmooze and meet people for the first 30 minutes. Now, you do the same thing in a Zoom meeting, because you all log in with your Zoom, and you get to chat with the people through your computer. At 7:30, we all sit around the conference table, and we go around the room, and everybody spends 30 to 40 seconds. Tell us what you do. Don't sell us. Now, in this section, a lot of people don't know how to give their 30-second elevator pitch. My job is to see what's not right with it and call you back later and give you some insight, some tips. That runs from 7:30 to 8:05. In the Zoom meeting, you're doing the exact same thing. The moderator who controls the meeting makes everybody in the Zoom meeting give their elevator pitch. Identical as being live, no problem. Going to 8:05. At 8:05, if you've never been to my meeting, I'm going to give you a minute or two and only talk personal. Where you from? I'm from New York. What borough was that? I went to UCLA. Go Bruins. You create hooks by giving yourself a personal introduction to everybody in the meeting. That takes us to 8:15. So from 7 o'clock to 8:15, you've been networking. Second part of my slogan where I said, learn how to network, now ready to make money. And making money is called needs, deals, wants, and testimonials. This is where in this meeting we go around the room and throw out any needs or deals or testimonials you might have. Like, I've got a furniture manufacturer. He needs a $3 million accounts receivable line of credit. Can anybody help me here? Maybe somebody can. Maybe nobody can. When you go back to your office, you go online to our website and you post that need and deal, and it gets broadcasted immediately to every member in the group. Within an hour, you can get a half a dozen responses back. You can become a hero for your client. Testimonials, same particular point of view from 8:15. You start thanking the people you've done work with. I want to thank Joe from ABC Lenders for getting me that $3 million line of credit. I want to thank Sally, the forensic accountant, for helping me in my receivership in San Francisco. Hey, I'm being thanked in front of all of these people in the group, and there's 25, 30, 35 people in this meeting. That's pretty good that people hear me. But you know what? Like I said, the meeting doesn't end at 9. When you go back to your office, go online to the website and post that testimonial. What happens when you post it? Number one, it's on the home page of my website, scrolling at the bottom of the page so people can read, Joe gave a $3 million line to Eric for this. I need a lender. I'm going to contact Joe. I don't see his phone number, though. You just click on Joe's face, which is on the home page of the site, with the testimonial, and Joe's profile pops up from all cities. What's on Joe's profile page? Besides what he does are all the testimonials that anybody in all cities has given him. That's similar to Home Advisors. You can see what these people do. And by the way, as you had mentioned, this is business to business. This is not the florist. This is not the plumber. These are people that work with manufacturers, wholesalers, distributors, and service companies. And this second part of the meeting of needs, deals, and testimonials goes from 8:15 to as long as 25 to 9, 20 to 9. It's a half-hour section. And if you're a guest who's at my meeting for the first time and you see 25, 30 minutes of testimonials, that's a lot of work being done over here. That's impressive. So that's that section of the meeting. Third section of the meeting, I said, was, and gain new friends. And that's the troika. At the end of the meeting, we break out into groups of 4, even though troika means 3, and we set up a breakfast or lunch over the next 30 days. Hey, Rhonda, you want to meet Sally. Sally wants Eric. Eric wants Joe. We just exchange our emails and stuff, and after the meeting, we book a breakfast or lunch over the next 30 days. So you've gone from 25, 30 people to 4 people. Now you're getting personal, and now you're becoming friends with them. And to have a lunch with somebody, I just set you up another marketing thing to do other than all cities. The meeting is typically over with by 9 a.m. I shouldn't say typically. It's always over with at 9. We run a strict timetable of how we run all cities. That's the big difference in how we differ from anybody else. We're not a schmooze fest. We have an agenda. And by the way, if you're a member of the group, right after the needs and deals and testimonials, you could be a speaker at all cities and give a presentation for 15 minutes. Matter of fact, even though I live in L.A. and I'm giving it to an L.A. group, I can now do a Zoom meeting and give